done to myself? I drank too much gasoline. Thank God I finally wasted my best chance on everything. Licking us right up by the door. The fire outside waits for you and me. If I don't look really happy, if I don't look really happy, yeah. If I don't look really happy, it's 'cause I've been taking it.
All right, everybody, here we are with week 3. I mean, you don't have to shout like I am. So, David, say hi to everybody.
Hi, everyone.
So, I guess we'll start off with talking about how we met at the Foundry there.
Yeah, what was it, the first semester I was there?
Yeah, fall 2012
2012.
was
Fall
my first semester there.
Same here.
You took to it like a fish to water because
but
never sculpted before.
never
Like Play-Doh as a child and all, but...
I think so, yeah, but never, I was always two-dimensional, so I was always painting and drawing, so I concentrated on that. And even then, I stopped painting and drawing for like 10 years.
Wow.
But really, I mean, like, 'cause school had ended, like, I stopped going to school in 2004.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, 2012 was when I started again. I would paint and draw in between that in terms of, like, just going to private studios,
Mm-hmm.
but nothing, like, academic or anything like that.
Huh. And what made you... Was it just like a lark? You're like, yeah, let me try this.
No, well, so, I didn't know what the course was, really. It's just, there was a time where, like, oh, I could work in between this one, and
Right.
it fits my category. And so I showed up, I was like, mold making. I'm like, sure, I thought I was like, I could just half-ass it and just get in there and just make some quick molds or something.
David
and be
half-assed
done.
it. I cannot imagine that.
But be done with it.
Yeah.
And so I never understood, like, I didn't know the process that went into it, and I didn't know, like, the outcome of, like, all the things that you can make.
Mhm.
I just thought, like, I'd make candles or
Right.
something similar, like soap or something.
But instead, you made
Oh,
the horse.
yes.
Which you don't have here because you...
That was a gift or it was a commission gift, I guess.
This is a cool looking horse. It's about like this big. You had to make it in several pieces. How many pieces?
It was 5 pieces, so it was just the body and then the legs.
So you sculpted it out of wax.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, and then you cut it apart.
Yeah, so I sculpted it in wax, and then I put it together, and then I had to cut it apart to figure out how to make a mold for it. And so the easiest way was to take off the legs, then make a mold of the body separately and the legs separately, then recast it in hollowed wax,
Right.
and then try to weld it all together, and then cut it apart again so that I could cast it separately.
And from start to finish, how long did that take you?
Maybe like 3 or 4
So, and
months.
your friends pleased?
Yeah. I kept telling her that, like, that was my first one, so I'm much better now.
Yeah. But the whole point is, you just decided to do something. You weren't intimidated by bronze. You know, you just decided to do it and followed through.
Oh, yeah. Like, so, one of the things that I always thought about was, if I fail, it's fine. You can always restart something and redo it over again. So I never went into any kind of project thinking that it was all or nothing. Like, if I failed, I'd walk away from it. And I did. I failed on a bunch of other projects I started. But, you know, like the elephant, that was a huge disaster from, like, the
Really?
and yeah, there was, like, so many hiccups to that. I had no idea how to even start it. And so, you know, I just went online and looked at, okay, so you build some sort of, like, armature.
Mm-hmm.
And so I figured, like, I went through, like, 3 different armatures to try to figure out how to do this. Wire, and I finally went to styrofoam, which was the easiest way.
Right.
And then, even from then, like, I never worked with plasticine before, so I just bought a whole mess of plasticine and just started, you know, sculpting with that. And then, from there, I had to figure out, okay, so now, how does plasticine react with the mold making stuff that we use?
Very nice.
Very nice, yeah.
Now, before all of that, you did the Crucified Einstein,
Yeah.
which some of our viewers may be familiar with from the art show. And now, is that the first thing you did before the horse, or concurrently?
I made the head, and then, like, I made the body, and it's like, over the weekend, I just showed up the next class, goes, here, Ryan, I have this. And he's like, what? Over the weekend you built this? Goes, yeah. Like, how do I make this into metal.
So then you got into these stormtrooper helmets.
Yeah.
Now this is crazy.
Well, so this was actually the first project where I never actually sculpted
Right.
from the beginning. It was something that was pre-made, and I just took that idea and then tried to build upon what was already pre-made into something that was my own.
But then you really took it to different places, like with the steampunk stormtrooper helmet that we're showing here.
I to be honest with you, like I had no idea. I don't remember how I came up with that idea. It just something just stuck in my head, and then I told Ryan one day, like I had nothing planned out. I didn't even have the helmet yet. I said, Ryan, wouldn't it be cool if I just had a bronze stormtrooper helmet? And he's like, he looked at me. I was like, what? And he goes, yeah. And then from then on, like it just became like I ordered the helmet. I had all these sketches. I showed him like, this is what I want to do. And he kind of just looked at me and okay, well go ahead.
You know, isn't that how some of the greatest stuff on Earth gets made? Somebody says, what if you did the TIE, is it the TIE Interceptor?
The TIE Interceptors.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a whole process.
Yeah, so at least with that one, I had made so many different molds already that I wanted to kind of test how to make different types of molds, or like so that it was more like a problem-solving process for me. I really wanted the interior of it made, and so to try to make a mold of the interior and the exterior, you had to then break up the model into different pieces, and then make molds of that, and then the thickness of the wings, things like that. It just became a big deal. I really didn't think it would come out, to be honest with you. Like even Steve had said, like, oh, you kind of gave me this look like I would just gape the hell out of this thing and hopefully just cross your fingers and then it'll work or not. But
well, and you had how many on a tree? Like
4.
4 on a tree, and really and truly, the whole gating and everything is pretty simple.
Everything came out perfectly.
I mean, do you think it would have done as well in aluminum?
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason why I had bronze is because I had so much of it. Like I bought so much of it.
Right.
And so I was just trying to figure out how to use as much bronze as I possibly could.
Now your aluminum stormtrooper helmets didn't come out quite as well as that.
Well, yeah. So the aluminum stormtrooper helmets, the only reason why they didn't come out correctly was because the way I had gated them, and I used ceramic shell. It was a very I shortcut it. I knew it as I was making. I was like, man, this is a shortcut process I'm doing right now. And it was just one single gate into the piece, and then it would tree around. Versus I went into the interior, like the inside of the helmet, and just branched off multiple trees so that it would vent properly. That's why there was all these.
And it looked like there was a bit of shrinkage too,
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay, this seems like it's good. We're using a lot of lingo here.
Yeah, is metal going in, vent is air going out.
Right. So, well, all right, well, this is a good time for a break, and we're going to come back and hear what David does for a living.
Okay, yeah.
All right. All right, this is kind of cool. I'm here in front of Chavez Meat Market in Redwood City. The sun's really screwed up. But it's a great place to eat. They've got delicious smelling burritos. I just popped in to grab a bubbly water. But I noticed something here that is not quite an anachronism, but a rarity. Look, it's a payphone. Remember payphones? It's several times during my childhood we didn't have an actual phone. So I had to go use the payphone to call my friends and stuff. So I'll leave you with that. The ancient dinosaur, the payphone. All right, guys, back to David Nguyen. Okay, back with David. We saw some of the interesting sculptures, but now on to making a living. So you're an EMT.
Yeah, paramedic, EMT.
Paramedic, what's the difference?
So an EMT is basic life support, so they aren't allowed to push medication or do advanced skills like intubation, which is putting a tube down your throat in order to breathe, starting IVs. There's a lot more medicine involved in terms of being a paramedic because there's like a year or so worth of like extra learning that you have to do.
How much schooling did it take you from
start to end? So it was probably about 2 years total.
Okay.
So to become an EMT is only like a little less than like a 3-month class. So it's a 1 semester class. So you just learn a basic anatomy, CPR, things like that. But then you have to work for about 6 months before you can get into paramedic school.
Okay.
And then from paramedic school, it's about a year. In order to get a job, you have to go through something called EVOC. It's like Emergency Vehicle Operations course. And so we went down to the San Bernardino Police Department, where they teach you how to drive defensively and operate these ambulances. And so what they do is they take an ambulance and they'll strip it down, then they'll put weights at the bottom of it so you can't flip it over. So it's really bottom heavy. And then they teach you, they have a skid pad, they douse it with water. And so the first one they'll have you drive, and then they'll just tell you to turn the wheel, and so you start fishtailing. And they'll teach you how to control out of that. So it's a step on the gas, turn into the fishtail, and then you'll be able to control it out. After they knew you could do that safely, they said you can have fun.
Oh man, that's what I'm thinking.
You would just gun it. You would gun it like 30 miles an hour, and you just turn the wheel, and you just like start spinning.
Did you take advantage of that?
Wow.
It almost seems like it'd be worth it just for that.
Yeah, no, it was really fun.
So what was the push to become an EMT and paramedic?
So it was a combination of factors. So I was an art major in college, which meant that my dad, he was not very happy that I was an art major. He just, an Asian parent, you would think, it's just that stereotype of he wanted me to have some sort of career. When my friend came to me, he told me he was going to medical school, and he needed to take this EMT course so that he could have something extra he could put on his resume. And I wasn't really doing anything at the time, so he asked me to come along. I took the class, and I was in an art major in a room full of biology majors, so I was way behind. I had no clue what they were talking about half the time.
So you had to cram.
Yeah, every night I went home and just started reading that textbook. I was like, what are they talking about? I was like, what is this? And so I learned everything I possibly could, graduated, and got a job right away. And it was weird, but I was really, really good at doing the job, and he wasn't. He didn't like it.
Really?
Yeah, but he got into medical school, so he's a doctor now.
How long have you been practicing?
Like 13 years on the job.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm sure that you've seen your share of tragedies.
Yeah, so everyone keeps, anytime anyone meets me and then hears what I do, that's like the first question they ask, like, what's the worst thing you've seen? I can't remember, I'll be honest with you. What I consider to be horrific is no longer, I have a very odd sense of...
Fascinating. So, the most accessible and fun track for conversation that I heard you talking to somebody at the Foundry, you said, hey, have you seen that show Campus PD?
Yes. It's almost as if they took, there's like a scholarship for being the most drunk. Something, I don't know what, there's got to be some sort of like...
So what usually happens? They break their ankles?
Most of them are usually fine. So if you're drunk, what's interesting is as long as you go limp,
you're more relaxed.
You bounce. So of all the people that I've ever taken, like who jumped out of a 2-story building, they've been pretty okay. I mean, they're not dead or anything.
So have you ever gotten a call? I remember back in going to party days, people would like drop ecstasy and whatnot, and I remember several people like curled up in a ball, like freaking out and drooling, and us all going, God, do we call the cops? Do you ever get people freaking out on like ecstasy or anything like that?
Yeah, all the time.
Really?
So I don't know if it's ecstasy, like we can't keep up with like all the names and all like the designer drugs. Essentially what we do now is like there's certain things that we have to just look out for. One of them is, that most people don't realize, is body temperature. So we have to, there's this, it's not new, but there's this weird drug out there that for some reason it causes some sort of psychosis where it increases your body temperature, makes you very violent, and all of a sudden you stop breathing. Some mechanism just makes you stop breathing. They don't know what it is.
Weird.
And so that was one of the bigger things that they imparted on us. Like, look out for this drug. Like, if someone is
it bath salts?
No, it's not bath salts. This was before bath salts.
Oh.
Yeah, and it was, I guess it was a form of ecstasy or something.
Huh.
But
yikes.
there was this new one that was coming out that
watch out, kids.
Yeah.
You're hearing it here.
If you ever talk to any doctor, the one drug, like all drugs you can probably do and you'll be okay if you do it once in a while.
Right.
The one drug you can't is meth. That's the one that will really F you up if you start using that one.
I don't want to get on the soapbox, but yeah, I've seen this happen. And
very addictive. It just destroys you instantaneously. So like you just need to stay away from that.
And physically, the faces of meth and all that. Yeah, I could tell you some stories, but we're not going to go. Well, how about this? This seems terribly dangerous. Heart attack remedy. Heart attack prescription is this scissor thing. Have you heard of this?
So it's like codeine with...
It's codeine, cough syrup, and alcohol.
So it's essentially two depressants.
Right.
So one of the problems with doing something like that is it's called a potentiation effect. So alcohol already decreases your ability to, let's just say, fight or to regulate your body system in terms of ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're already compromising that term, then taking a medication that automatically brings you down, it accentuates or it exacerbates that system altogether. So whatever dosage of scissor you're going to be taking, which should be normal, then becomes magnified by like tenfold.
Jeez.
That's why it's really dangerous.
And it seems like at the outset you're at least going to wet your pants.
With codeine, with any sort of depressant, the bigger problem is that you stop breathing, or that your respiratory drive drops so low that you don't breathe effectively,
mm-hmm.
and then you become, without oxygen, you become hypoxic, or your brain dies instantaneously. Your brain needs sugar and oxygen. That's the only two things that it needs to operate. And so without oxygen, you're kind of shit out of luck.
Screw that. So there must have been some delightful times, like meeting nice people or getting a kitten out of a tree. Did any
So
happy days come?
There are. So one of the best things that I can remember about being a medic was right about 2 to 3 o'clock. We would drive down. This was in San Diego when I used to work there, but we used to drive down past the school, and there's an elementary school, and so these kids that were crossing guards, they would be full uniform, and they'd walk. They would have to walk, the kids across the street and stuff. But every time we passed, we always got a kick out of it. I'm not sure why, but everyone stopped and they'd all salute. As we drove by, it was the coolest thing. It was just like every single time, no matter what they were doing, they would just stand at attention, arms up, and just start saluting us as we drove. It was awesome. I think that was.
All right, well, we're going to take a break here, and not sure what's going to be next, but it might be pretty cool. I mainly want to check the time, and then we'll wrap it up.
All right,
okay, so Alicia is on her way home now, and I've got a special surprise for her. When she watched the first episode, she's liking the new show with the interviews, but when she saw the one with Mark, I was wearing this shirt. I've always liked the shirt. I've had it for several years. I had no idea that she hated it. She hates the shirt, which is strange because she usually is pretty forthcoming with everything she hates of my clothes and whatnot. And she actually said, ugh, but that shirt, just sort of to herself as an aside, ugh, but that shirt, I hate it. I wish I could burn it. So when she gets home, I'm going to have this shirt in a pan with some lighter fluid, and I'm going to hand her a lighter, and she gets to burn the shirt. Let's see what happens. Come on, honey.
Thank you.
I know it's Friday, and you just want to do your thing, but I have a fun little surprise for you first.
Oh, boy.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that big of a deal. Here's a lighter. Because remember you said, I hate that shirt. And what did you say then?
I can't remember.
You said, I want to burn it.
Oh, no.
All right. Light her up, honey, but be careful of your hair.
Yeah, seriously. Barbecue.
Does that make you happy? Say bye to the
Allow
people.
me to burn your shirt. Bye, people.
All right, back with David here for our send-off here. We both like comic books. You have good taste, and you're about to load me up with some. But you thought it would be a better discussion to go out with, and it's this cool new art project.
Yeah, so it's still in its infancy, so this might take quite a while to try to
Now,
figure
you're
out.
not scared of somebody stealing your idea?
Actually, if someone could figure out how to do it better, I would welcome that.
I knew you'd
because
say
I
that.
have no clue on how I'm going to get this done. But I don't make things for myself. I make it for other people. And I feel like when I do things like that, I actually put a lot more into the effort, into the emotions and things, and making things for other people. And so one of the things I wanted to do was try to connect artists with complete strangers, and I guess spread that kind of sensibility, or that whatever passions that they're putting into their work into the world. And so it just came to me one day, just this idea, where if I can get a coalition of different artists to make something, whatever it could be,
But top notch.
And not so much top notch. I think it should just be more about.
You're not just cranking it out here.
Yes, but you're actually doing it for a reason. You're putting your time and effort. You're putting that love that you would. If you were going to make something for a loved one, you would put a little more attention to detail, things like that into it. And so I would like to have a bunch of artists do that. We would put a serial number at the bottom of it, and a website. And one of the things that we have to do is just go out into the world. I was thinking they could give it to other family members, but complete strangers would make more sense.
Yeah.
It would force you to start a conversation with a complete stranger, introduce yourself, talk about what you're doing, and then just hand off this art piece. And that person then would go onto that website, enter in that serial number, and then get to like a quick bio of the artist, what they did, or even like a link to their website, but more just the general, I guess maybe like information about what this project's about. And it's about spreading art and spreading, I guess, love or connecting with other people. But what they would have to do is then post a story about how they received this piece on that website and where they're from, and then maybe it would map it, and maybe photographs of them holding it or them displaying it somewhere in their house or in the world. But then they would have to take that piece and then do the exact same thing, go out into the world,
Pass it on.
to someone else.
I just thought of a cool idea. You could have one database of people that know about the project that sign up to be the stranger.
Yeah.
And like I could suggest my friends and family, and whatnot. And then, of course, have a healthy, I like the idea of just a stranger like, hey, how's it going? Would you accept this piece of art?
Yeah, it would be nice. But I was thinking about like just the time frame of that, where it would. You imagine maybe like a year down the line, where you could just go onto the website and you would just get like this link or this web of people who are now kind of connected with each other, and who knows, like might even make friends or communicate or just do other things. But you would just see your art piece in picture form or even map form just travel across the either the world or
that would be
United
cool.
States, being shown at different spots, and just getting more recognition from maybe even the artist. But I think it was more about like connecting just complete strangers with each other through this like one art piece that the artist had made.
Well, that's a cool idea. I like it, and consider me an ally for that.
Okay, yeah.
Was talking about you playing a song if you wanted, but I think we've got a full interview.
That's cool.
here.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time. Next time we talk about comic books.
Yeah, next time we'll talk about comic books, play a tune. So it seems like a lot of the people I'm interviewing, both of us want to follow up and do another one, so that's a good sign.
Sweet, yeah.
Well, David, thank you very much, my friend. That's week 3, signing off with David Nguyen, and go make stuff, right?
Yeah, make stuff.
All right.
Don't be afraid to make stuff.
Right, don't be afraid. Because if you produce something, you win.
Even if you fail, you win.
Right.
Because you learn.
All right, there's our long send-off, but we both feel very passionately about that and hope to have imparted some of that onto you guys. Peace.
Mike.